Portland regionals, the Portland VGC regionals. My whole trip, I actually did a pretty good job of like documenting the trip for people that have never been to a regional or want to see like what the behind the scenes like run of a regional looks like. So I did a pretty good job. So we're going to be going over that today, as well as like all of my rounds and all of, I would say I'm not going to say like the exact prep work that went into it, but like all my opponents' Pokemon, how I approached each match, what Pokemon they brought, and how I countered being put into a bad position. I think it's going to be a pretty good stream for people that want to learn more about how to actually play at like a regional level. People always hear me say like, oh, that's good, but it wouldn't work at regionals, and I'm not trying to be an elitist. It's more so that the mindset that you need to take to a regional is very, very, very different from an online tournament, from online ladder, from playing against your friends. There's very specific things that do well at regionals. There's a very specific play style, body language, all that stuff that goes into playing in a regional. And I want to say before we even get into it, right, that this was the first regional in probably 5 years that I was able to play the game at 100% like the way I wanted to. I played that whole regional, didn't make a single mistake. It's just that some teams are made to win regionals, some teams are made to like top cut or get CP, and my team was made to like top cut / get CPs, and I did that. This team did everything I wanted it to. I don't think I made a single mistake all tournament. Every single round went kind of exactly like what I wanted to. When you go to regionals, you need to be preparing to win certain matchups and lose certain matchups. Like for example, people are going to look at my team. I'll show my team right here. They're going to look at my team like, you don't have a restrictive mon. Sorry, you don't have a paradox mon. You don't have a a ruin mon or anything like that. And this team is very specifically made to win like 4 or 5 matchups while having a pretty bad matchup against some things. Like for example, like hard Trick Room gives me a lot of problems, but the reality is you're not going to see hard Trick Room in a regional past like round 3 or 4 just because it's so hard to play. I'm not going to call it inconsistent, but you can kind of tick a lot of little teams that might be really problematic off the board because they just wouldn't really show up at regionals. So it's making the right plays and making the right calls, and this team was the right call for the tournament. They mentioned your team round 4. That's because I'm freaking the best, bro. It's because I'm the best. All right, so now that we get that out of the way, let's talk about the tournament. Yeah, dude, I'm killing it, man. This team was really fun. So before we even get into the event, we're going to talk about, I took some pictures and we're going to go over some stuff. So at the very start of everything, I tweeted, like, I got to Portland, right? And I had already actually been gone for a couple days. I went to a couple shows in the Bay Area. And yeah, I'd already been like gone for a while, but you know, team was submitted for Portland. Who am I seeing this weekend? Took a picture of the thing, and like I'm at Portland way early. I went to a show the night before, and then I got like a couple hours of sleep, and then I flew like 6 in the morning out to Portland. So this is like 8 o'clock in Portland. I'm like the only one here, right? And I'm walking to Burnside Skate Park, which is about a mile down the road from here. Overall, Portland's a really cool city. There's not that much to eat in Portland. That's one thing that I really didn't enjoy that much about the regional, is that like the lunch break that we got was really short. And there's not that much to eat near the convention center, and they closed like everything in the convention center food-wise. So there's not that many tents though. Welcome back, we're here. Compared to like Sacramento and San Francisco, there's not that many tents. Anyways, this is the day before the tournament, right? So this is the day before the tournament. So I decided to play in the side event, which is like a premier challenge type of tournament. Saw that you battled Moxie. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So this is a side tournament. We had, it went down to about 30 people. I think we had like 32-ish people. And I went X1. It's so funny. Look at this. Look at the standings here. I'm 7th, right? With 3-1. Same score as Brian Spicer, who he lucked me out, but he got me in the tournament. And because of like how tiebreakers work, I get 7th. And so it's actually funny. We got like prize support tickets or dice for the wall. He got like 10 times the amount of prize I got for getting the same score. It was pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I knew from that tournament, this was a best of one closed team sheet tournament. This is the day before the tournament, and I always like to say people should play these because they're great practice for getting to like play in person, making sure you're taking notes, making sure you have all the right cords, your headphones, making sure everything works the way you want it to so you can actually get into the zone and play. I went 3-1. Again, my only loss was I think he crit me like 2 or 3 turns in a row. In matchups where like, bro, I had it. But no, he played really well, and actually took a look at his team and stuff like that. He was so cool. I hung out with him after almost every round. Said hi really quickly. Yo, hopefully you had a good time. We're going to be going over everything. If anyone has any stories from their event at Portland, just let me know. But yeah, Spicer was super cool. And yeah, it wrote a pleasure playing. He even hooked me up with some of the winnings he got because he's like, it doesn't feel fair that we got the same result and, you know, he got way more prizes. But yeah, lost one game in the best one closed team sheet, Portland VGC Day 0 event, washed. And so I was like, Lamau. Right? So now we're at the tournament. And this is right when the tournament starts. This is like, doesn't show what time it starts or what time this tweet was. But it says like, don't talk to me, my son, ever again. I've been waiting on this tweet. Yo, thank you. We got a sub already. Yo, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you for the sub, my friend. Hopefully you're excited. We got so much cool stuff to do today. I promise. We have so much cool stuff to do. And we will play some games, I promise. So I brought this plush of Garchomp to the tournament because if you actually remember, let me scroll back like 2 weeks. Been meaning to sub for like a month. You to go. Thanks for the tips. Yo, I'm gonna have some more. This is just my Twitter, by the way. I had this tweet where I said like all of my favorite regional mascot plushes are weak to Flutter Main, send help. And so I was like, you gotta build your team on your plushie. I said that. So I picked the Garchomp because the Garchomp's strong. Because all these other ones are like really weak to Flutter Main. So I knew I was gonna build around Garchomp. And like literally the only reason I even go to these regionals anymore is to like buy plushies from the little pop-up vendors and stuff like that. So I had this Garchomp plushie, and the first one I saw was this guy. And dude, this Garchomp is like fucking sick, dude. This is Garchomp. I don't know what this guy is anymore, but like this like is Garchomp. This is the coolest freaking plushie the world's ever seen. So immediately bought it, right? And I immediately had to do the "Don't talk to me or my son ever again" tweet, of course. And so let's see, where are we going? We're gonna take a look at. Let's see if I turn this on. So this is the same type of thing. I have like photos and like my tweets open. So this is round 1. So anyways, we're gonna start round 1. And round 1, I go up against Jake White, who I think is Squirrel Boy, which I think is the guy that created the VGC damage calculator. Really, really cool team. We're gonna break down their team right here. This is my team, by the way. We're gonna break down their team on Showdown. And so when I take notes for these sort of regionals, you don't have that much time. You don't have that much time. And when you start a game, you get given a team sheet that looks like this that you can't really see, but it has like all the different languages of every single Pokemon. So everyone from no matter what country they're coming in can realistically read something. It has like English, French, so many different Japanese, Korean, Chinese, everything. It's on here. But only the first line is what you really need to know. And so you get given one of these, and you have to give it to your opponent, and they get to look at it through the match. And it has your Pokemon, its Terra type, its ability, its items, and all 4 of its moves. So that's how these events sort of go. So Jake hands me their team. You get given just the team preview to look at it. So I want you guys to remember, I'm already like technically off a top cut. I went 3-1 in the side event the day before. And I'm writing everything down. Give me 1 sec. I gotta find it. Where are we? I have a full notebook here of like, there it is. And so I write down a lot of stuff. All right, so round 1. So their team was, so what I like to do is I like to write down, since you can't write down everything, I like to write down the Pokemon, the Terra type, the item, and if it has Protect. That's just what like makes me realize stuff. You made day 2. This was my first open team sheet tournament, so really proud of how I did. I'm now part of the Patreon and want to get you to look over my team at some point. Yo, I'm definitely going to do that. I'll definitely be able to help. That's what we be doing here. Happy to hear you got day 2. So let's go. Let's go. Their first Pokemon was Flutter, obviously. Everyone uses this Pokemon, highest usage rate. It was a Fairy Terra Flutter, and it had Specs. This is like the most common Pokemon on like every single player's team, I think. I think every single player uses one of these except for me. I use a Goldango, which is the same thing. The next mon was Talonflame. It was a Ghost Terra. And it was Cloak. I think it's really weird to be Cloak and Ghost Terra. I usually pick one. Obviously, there's like Gale Wings. I'm not going to go over the moves because they weren't relevant. Gyarados. It was a Steel Terra Gyarados. Lots of Gyarados in this tournament. And Gyarados, my team's so good against Gyarados. I have like Annihilate with like... Oh my gosh, my team is just so cracked versus Gyarados. There's nothing... And I have like Thunderbolt, Goldango and stuff like that too. And it was Psychic Seeds, which is actually really cool. And then they had Indeedee. And it was Flying Terra, which was actually really, really weird to see. But it was probably for like Tinglu matchups with Goggles. So really, really good stuff. And then it was Armarouge. With a weakness policy. And this one was actually weak armor with Psychic Terra. And it had an Endure, which was actually really cool. And then the last mon was Great Tusk with a Choice Scarf. And it was Ground Terra, and basically you could like lead Great Tusk next to the Armarouge and go Endure, Earthquake, Policy proc yourself, get the weak armor proc, and just go to town, right? And then you would swap out the Great Tusk for something else. Really, really cool team. And again, this is like a seasoned competitor playing it. Like, this person's been around forever. So they're really, really good. And I was able to, you know, get those dubs. You know, 2-0. 2-0 got it. In the first game, they led Tusk Talon. And basically what I did was, so they led, I guess I have my notes right here. They led Tusk Talon, and basically I led like really, really passive. I led like a double protect, wait to see them lock themselves in an Earthquake, and then I swapped in Murkrow. I feel that like a lot of people when they take a look at my team, they think that like, okay, cool, you're gonna lead Ape or you're gonna lead Murkrow. And what they don't realize is, like, I can bring just the Ape or, like, just the Murkrow. I don't have to go Mouse Ape or anything weird. And I can mix these in mid-game. Because basically, if you're playing Talon Tusk, and your Tusk is locked Earthquake, and you're playing a Talon that's, like, not very strong, I don't have to really care about it. So, yeah, basically, I just brought in the Murkrow, and then it forces the Tusk to swap out, and I just nuked that slot every single time. And then they had to bring the Tusk back in, and then relock into something else. And then I swap in and, like, wall that. So, basically, they had to then re-bring the Tusk back in, lock themselves in a Rock Slide. I swap in a Chomp then. You see how that's basically just game in game one. And then in game two, there was a situation where they also like low-key fumbled the bag with the weakness policy play. They swapped their Armarouge in a play the way they didn't think it would be. They thought it'd be safe, but it wasn't. Just because Life Orb Murkrow just does so much damage. This Pokemon is like the best thing ever. People were talking about it all tournament too, because like I was just on a steamroll train rolling through everybody with Life Orb Murkrow. Man, this thing just it's stronger than a Talonflame. You might as well use the attack stat, and so it just messes people up. But yeah, in game two, basically, it came down to them going for the Endure play. They went for the Endure play, trying to get like a policy proc versus my Garchomp, and I read the Endure because they thought I was going to Earthquake, and I Swords Danced it, and then basically they kind of just fell apart from there. But yeah, basically the whole way to beat like Scarf Tusk for a team like mine is to wait and see what they lock into, and then punish accordingly and stuff like that. So it was really good, and I felt really good after this one. Like, Life Orb Murkrow was really, really good. I got so many KOs. After, like, a tick of poison, it KOs, like, Speed Flutters. So, Murkrow wasn't supposed to evolve, right? Murkrow's supposed to just be good. So that was my first round. And again, I really like their team. I just feel that, like, you know, looking at their team, they had Specs on the Flutter. They had the Choice Scarf here. They had Endure here. I don't remember if there was Protect here. I don't think there was Protect here, and I don't think there was Protect here. It was the case where, like, they tried to pack so much tech into every single mon to where, like, you have to, like, literally play perfect. And if it was closed team sheet, it would have been really hard. But it was open team sheet, so I was like, you don't have the defensive tools to, like, stop me once I know what you're going to do. So that's why I wouldn't even call it a good matchup. It's a bad matchup for me. I was just able to play my game. And I think like it was the first game of the tournament for them, so they were like still warming up. But yeah, we take those. Definitely, we take those. So we're gonna go back to the Twitter, and we see I got that round 1, and so I always tweet this. It was one of my favorite things to tweet at tournaments. You get the not washed tweet round 1. I always go right. I always win the first round. Always. It's my favorite thing to do is just tweet the not washed, like 2-0. We take this all the way to the bank. It's my favorite feeling in the world winning the first round. Did I see a lot of priority spam? Nope, I did not. Or if I did, it wasn't like a big deal. So going into round 2, let's plug in their team. This is going up against a guy named Travis, and very, very good team. I'm going to show you the results that all these people got at the very end. So with all their names and stuff like that, we're going to go over that stuff. So their first Pokemon was Amoonguss, and it was a Water Terra Amoonguss, right? And the item was a Citrus Berry. So so you're starting to see like very, very standard Amoonguss that most people use. It was obviously a generator, but we then see a Scarlet. Like Scarlet getting a little bit dicey out here. Grass with a Clear Amulet. And I love seeing Clear Amulet because like my team, first of all, doesn't have Intimidate, right? It's basically just a waste of an item in this slot. And like Scarlet could be a problem for my team since I'm built around like Goldango and Mouseape, but I have the right tools to be able to pin it. So Gyarados again. Again, Gyarados actually can't do anything against my team. Like it doesn't do anything against Goldango. It's not good into Garchomp because we have Swords Dance, and it's not good into Mouse. It's not good into like almost all of my options. And it was a Goggles Gyarados. And like Steel Terragonis is such a waste because like I'm literally Garchomp. So it's like you can't even Terra this thing. So you can't even bring it really. And then we see Ting Lu, the big guy. This is gonna be Poison AV. So we see Poison AV Ting Lu. Then we see Flutter. We see Booster Flutter. Flutter with Booster, which it eventually boosted into Speed. All right. And it was Fairy Terra. I like running this that same set. And then the last Pokemon was Dragonite. And it was a Dragonite with Multiscale, Lumberry, and Flying Terra. So it was like one of those Dragonites that did like a little bit of everything. So overall, pretty cool team, I would say, from them. They led with Dragonite Amoonguss in game 1. And I think I opened up Goldango Murkrow. And I love Goldango Murkrow into this. You can just go Tailwind, make it rain. The way this works is if you KO something or don't KO, it doesn't matter what happens, right? It really doesn't matter what happens because they can't spore your Goldango, right? And if they want to spore your Murkrow, that's fine. Actually, no, wait, I remember what I did. I did something a little bit different. One of the reasons why I like the Life Orb Murkrow against this team, when they led Amoonguss Dragonite, I led Murkrow Goldango. I went Brave Bird into the Amoonguss and Make It Rain, KO'd the Amoonguss on the first turn, chunked the Dragonite. Dragonite finished off the Amoonguss. Dragonite finished off the Murkrow, and then I just repin with Garchomp. And now I have Garchomp Goldango, and I'm just like ready to go ham. I can just Make It Rain again, Rock Slide, game's basically over. In game 2, they open up Scarlet Dragonite, and I'm trying to remember how this one works, because I don't remember every single turn. But it ended up being a lot closer. And I think that they lived with their Ting Lu at like 2 HP on a Rock Slide in the late game, and they ended up getting that game. And then in game 3, they led Scarlet Flutter, and I led Mouseape and just walked over him. You know, like Mouseape, the thing about my team, we're actually going to be making a video in a few days going over how to correctly understand how to lead correctly. Basically, what you want to be doing when you're making your teams is make like a tier list of like S rank, A rank, B rank, C rank, D rank, and make every single group option like a different option. So like for example, one of the best leads my team has is something like Mouseape. That's like an S tier core. You put that in the S tier. Same thing goes for like Goldango Murkrow. Put that in the S tier. You know what that's good against. You know what that's bad against. You know how to play it. It's way better than your other options. Options that might not be as good, that might sometimes be viable, are understanding how something like Mousehold Murkrow works, and if there's ever any situations where that could be good, There are actually a couple situations where that could be good. Or understanding the strengths of underused cores, so you can actually slot those in to win games 2 and 3. It's going to be a video coming to the channel relatively soon. And yeah, I definitely think that people are going to like that. But basically, in this whole tournament, what really won me these games was like being able to like maximize my effectiveness in games 2 and 3 and knowing exactly what to do. I didn't have to spend like an ounce of resources thinking about what I was going to do in games 2 and 3. It was completely obvious. Like this whole tournament was just autopilot. Like I already did all the work beforehand. I just had to slot it in. I just had to like press the buttons. Easiest peasiest tournament. I didn't have to like think. I didn't have to do like anything. I already did all the work beforehand. I just had to like slot in stuff I already practiced. Do you have to use Terra on Murkrow to keep it alive? Sometimes. It's Ghost Terra. It's basically just there to avoid fake out. I Terra'd 3 times in this tournament. Yeah, it's okay. But anyways, let's see. I ended up winning that set, so you can see we're gonna go haha winner. So we're 2-0. We are now 2-0, undefeated. Go back to the Twitter page because it's better pictures. There we go. 2-0. Saying I really want to play on stream. Right, I really want to play on stream. That'd be really nice. It'd be kind of nice, kind of sweet if I played on stream. That's why I like. That's actually the reason I'm using Murkrow instead of Talonflame. I wanted something that was immune to Prankster. I also wanted something that could like low-key hide the fact that it's like heavy attack investment, but people figure that out. So we're going up to round 3. Going up into round 3. How do they choose stream matches? They just pick whoever they want. Do we get honorable mention for predicting that you were going to face off against Moxie? I think like 5 or 6 people did, but yeah. So round 3, I'm playing against Marcos Moxie boosted himself, and he's using like a really, really good team. He's using a really good team, and this is where we're going to get a little bit more into how to like win a best of 3. So Marcos is really good. We're going to take a look at his team right now. He also won the Premier Challenge the day after. So he won out like a, what is it, 130 or 40 person Premier Challenge, like right after this tournament. So he's crazy, right? So round 3, he has Glimora. And I think he actually is using Corrosion Glimora, so we can like Mortal Coil Amoonguses and stuff like that. Mortal Spin Amoonguses. But it's AV. If I can type. So it's AV and it's Grass Terra. So pretty standard Glimora, but I think it's Corrosion. And then he's using Woshen. Woshen's strongest soldier himself. It is a Poison Citrus, and I like the Citrus on Woshen. It's one of my favorite sets for things like that. Poison's pretty standard. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring a team like the one that I did was because Poison and Steel Terras are so common on Mons, and Garchomp just says no, right? One thing about this tournament, I want you guys to understand. I built this team around Garchomp, right? I built this team around Garchomp. And what I wanted to do in this tournament was no matter what, I wanted to make it so Garchomp could be strong. So like if I don't know what I want to lead, just do with one of the Garchomp options. Or always bring Garchomp up. Always have faith in Garchomp, right? This is the first tournament in literally like 5 or 6 years that I took the time to actually pick Pokemon that I liked, that suited my playstyle, that played the game the way I think it should be played. I nicknamed all of them. This was the most like anime tournament I've ever had, where like I felt the joy of playing Pokemon for the first time in like literally like 5 or 6 years. Really, really good stuff. And every time I sat down, right? Every time I sat down, you know, I put my plushies up there because I put the plushies up because you had to have your plushies up, and I always angled the Garchomp like a little bit more towards the opponent, so I could see his face. I could see that side shot of the Garchomp, but he's always looking a little bit more towards the opponent because Garchomp always faces forward. Garchomp's always looking towards the future. You gotta lean into those rock slides, lean into those crits. Have faith that Garchomp will live. Have faith in your EV spreads. This is that good stuff. A couple times, I was like, no, this is too dicey, and I'm like, nah, just do it. I already did basically, it gave me the confidence to put into play the things that I calced out. You know, I didn't talk myself out of things I already worked on. I knew this would work. I knew this would work. I knew this would work. And in doing so, I was able to play with confidence, dictate play, and then also play with the right body language to where like I do a play that doesn't look good and they're like, that's weird. And then I capitalize on it and like I don't break character. So like we'll get into it in a little bit. There's a couple situations where you'll see what I mean. We'll get into it in a couple rounds. But body language is a really big thing in tournaments, and we'll talk about how that affects the matchup. Actually, body language is a pretty good thing in this matchup. We'll talk about it in just a sec. So we're going over Marcus's team again. He has Garg. And so remember what I talked about? It's flying leftovers. I talked about how there are some teams that are just bad matchup. This is a bad matchup. You would not expect someone to play stall into like round 3 or 4. You'd probably see them in the first couple rounds, but not once you start getting into the undefeateds. Booster Flutter. And it was special attack boost. And it was Fairy. And then Gyarados Poison. Yep. All these Gyaradoses, man. Gyaradoses can't hang. And it was Safety Goggles. And by the way, I want you guys to understand that Marcos, definitely better player than me. Definitely has a better team than me. But we'll talk about what happened in the match in just a sec. Last month, Scarf Chiyu. Such a good team, if I could type it. So, Choice Scarf. And I think he had like a Ghost Terra, yeah. So to avoid fake outs and E-speeds. Really, really cool team. Right? Really, really cool team. I should have 0% chance to win this matchup. So, when you have 0% chance to win this matchup and you flowchart it for this sort of team, you can flowchart versus stall, you can flowchart versus the aggressive tendencies of the Flutter main Chiyu aspects. You can think if they're either gonna go full stall with like Wo-Chien stuff, or they're gonna go like Flutter Chiyu with like Gyarados Garg, which is there's only like 2 ways that team really gets played against mine, and that's because I know what my team's strength and weaknesses are, so I know what you should be able to bring. So in the first game, they lead Flutter Chiyu, right? They lead Flutter Chiyu, and I lead Murkrow Goldango. I'm trying to capitalize on them maybe opening up differently, and depending on how they open up, like I should be fine. And I lose both my Pokemon on the first turn, and I send out my next Pokemon. Basically what they did, he played it so well. I went Steel Terra thinking to myself, like, okay, I'm going to go with, like, Tailwind, Make It Rain, and basically be fine. He went Protect Flutter, Overheat my... I didn't lose my Murkrow, but yeah, I lost the Goldango. And I was planning on losing both, so then I could re-pin with, like, Garchomp Glimmora in the back, and then just use my Tailwind to, like, roll the rest of the game over. But he played really well, and he absolutely dumpstered my Goldango first turn, only took like half on his Chiyu. And so, it was an absolute loss in every single aspect, which is fine. The team, like, you got to be this tall to ride, which is what my team does. It forced him to be this tall to ride. He completely outplayed me. I sent out Garchomp, and I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I need to go into like 3 or 4 different flowcharts for what I want to do. And I just let the Murkrow die. I also do a thing where I put Protects on the very front of my team. So you're going to see, where's my team right here? I put Protects at the very front. And that way, if like I'm at a regional and I need to take time to like think of what to do for like a game 2 plan, I'm going to go over like, do I want to go with like this S tier lead, this S tier lead? I can theory craft and flowchart. I can just completely put the game down and just like look at my notes and work in it. And it'll just auto protect, which means I get the most amount of turns without actually having to look at the game, which means I can use the game that I'm losing to think about what I want to do in games, 2 and 3. So I do that, and I think Marcus is good enough to where I didn't tilt him, but that does actually tilt some people. And I apologize too. At the end, I was like, no, I was just theory crafting game 2, and he's like, I get it. So in game 2, remember, in game 1, he led Flutter, Chiyu. He absolutely washed me out. Absolutely, totally just washed me out. In game 2, I lead Murkrow Goldango again. And he leads Flutter Chiyu again. Now, this might sound like it's bad. It's not. This is going to sound really stupid, but Marcos is a really good player, and one of the reasons why I build my teams the way they are, which is like want to win early, play aggressively, maximize board state, is so you can win games against players that are unpredictable. So you can get to a point where you're fighting 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. Once you get to fight those players, something that a lot of players do is they want to optimize everything. So, yes, he could have totally went Protect Flutter and gone for the overheat into my Goldango again. But I led the exact same way. There's no way I'm just going to let myself die again. He could totally click Protect Overheat, right? But he's probably thinking, well, this time he's going to go Tailwind Murkrow and Power Gem my Chi-Yu, probably, right? Or maybe he's using this as bait and going to like switch or do something weird. He's probably thinking I have some master strategy. And the master strategy is him thinking that I will do something different, and I do the exact same thing. So what happens is I click Tailwind, I click Make It Rain, I kill the Flutter, chunk the Chi-Yu, lose my Goldango, bring out Garchomp, and now I have Garchomp Murkrow. Tailwind turns her up, the Flutter's gone, Chi-Yu's chunked. We roll it from there, right? So that wouldn't work against a lot of players, but I knew that would work against Marcos just because of how like analytical he is and how that he has that optimization feature. I've seen him in his videos, when he plays like best of 3 sets, there's always like little things, and some people like really like to optimize like that, and then there's some people that like to just play super passive. They're like, this worked the first time, I'll do it again. I know that he's not one of those people. There's always slight changes to make, and I knew that I'd be able to get away with that. That's definitely stealing a game, but again, that's one of the things in like my handy dandy little notebook of, win conditions to do against bad matchups. That's definitely one of the options. And after I lost game 1 so badly, that's the one that I figured would have the best option to win game 2 with. Because you get into a game 3 situation where I have not shown anything. I've done the same weed twice. And I've shown, if anything, that I have an affinity for being really bad. Right? Which is hard to do against someone that knows like you, because me and Marcos know each other. But I've seen what his team does, right? So in game 3, he leads Chi-Yu Flutter, and I go Mouse Ape that game, right? And so that's the thing, is like that's what makes my team, I think, so cool, is that you have to like really over-respect what like Goldango Murkrow bring to the table, especially because I'm so hard set on like making that the thing. Remember, the team is not supposed to just win the game in 2 turns. It's supposed to go Goldango Murkrow, Tailwind, Make It Rain, you get a KO, you don't get a KO, you chunk something. The whole point's actually getting a Tailwind up and making you get rid of the Goldango. So then I bring in the Garchomp, which is, remember, the whole mon that I'm trying to feature, and then Garchomp carries the game, right? That's the whole point of the team. So you basically blow out Break Sashes with Goldango and are unsporable, which is why I'm using a Goldango over a Flutter, and then you bring out the Garchomp, and that's the whole point. So going into game 3, I haven't even shown the Mouse Ape yet, which means I understand the calcs on all his mons. And we also played, and I got to see like his Gyarados set and a couple other things. Realistically, though, he doesn't have like that much knowledge on the Mouse Ape core. So I'm able to like get a decent board state out, and it gets to like a really, really late game situation where it's like Ghost Terra Chi-Yu at like half, and he has like Gyarados and Garg. And I have like Murkrow, a Garchomp that's like is Swords Danced up. I'm Poison Terra'd, so I'm Thunder Waved by his Gyarados, and I also have like one other Pokemon. But basically, what happens in this one is we're in that game state where his Garg has Wide Guard, and my Garchomp only has Rock Slide and Earthquake as attacking moves, and so he has to click Wide Guard every single turn. And what a lot of players that would do in my situation, they'd be like, okay, I gotta switch this Garchomp out, it can't hit. But what I'm doing here is I'm like, yo, if I keep this Garchomp on the board every single turn, he can never Salt Cure anything, right? So if I just literally Earthquake or Rock Slide every single turn, and I was Rock Sliding to be able to KO the Gyarados, because eventually what I want to do is KO the Garg's teammates to get the Garg in a 1v2 situation where I can click Earthquake and you can't Wide Guard and win, because I'm not ever going to allow you the opportunity to get the Salt Cure up. So I just kept a Garchomp on the board for like 6 turns, going into that Wide Guard, wasting the Garg's time, and trying my best to like weave and protect switches and like do chip damage to the opponents. And eventually I end up getting a KO where I KO the Gyarados, and then I set up a situation where I have like Garchomp Murkrow, like that late game Murkrow that I was talking about, and it's the Choice Scarf Chi-Yu and the Garg, and remember I got that big Life Orb Sucker Punch, Oko right there, really, really good stuff, and Garchomp hits the EQ into the Garg, and at that point, they could wide guard again, but like I have enough Earthquake PP to balance out their wide guards and stuff like that. So I had the Murkrow still too. So like if you were wide guarding, Murkrow would be able to take pot shots at you. So we take those wins and we go up 2-1 against Marcos, and yeah, that was. I mean, if you were to ask me to win like another game against him, I couldn't. I literally showed like every single trick that my team had. And I had to play, like, I'm not going to say disrespectful, but I had to, like, lean into the fact that, like, I really had to, like, dictate play all set. I had to take a lot of risks that, again, the more that you have to play like that, the less returns you're going to get over time, because they're going to realize that you're just going to disrespect their lead, and they're going to disrespect you back. So the fact that, like, Marcos treated me like I would respect his options was probably what let me win. But again, like I said, he won the Premier Challenge the day after. Still got great CP from the event. He's still on track to get to Worlds. So we take those, though. I'm so happy I won that one, because me and him are rivals on YouTube. And it was just a really important game, I think, for me to win. And I know it was really important for him to win, too. But, like, I had to win that one, man. I had to do it. Like, I had to. So that was the story. And that would have been such a good stream game. It went to 3 games. It came down to, like, the last Mon situations. Oh, it was good. It was just so good. Just hit my coffee on the computer. So that was a good game. That was a really good one. So who's still here? Yeah, Marcus is cool. And he's, like, really good, too. So it's like, he just needs to, I mean, he won the Premier Challenge. There you go. All right, still here. All right, so what's up next? We here. So this is the standings at the end of the 3rd round. You can see I'm 3-0 because I'm busted. Still here. Thank you, friends. Thank you. 3-0. And this is the start of the next round where I show the team off a little bit. And we got to punch in that guy's team. So this is the craziest set of the tournament. Craziest set of the tournament coming up here, guys. You're not going to believe this one. You're not going to believe this one. You're not going to believe this one. All right, so we're going up against a guy named James. He has an Arcanine. He has an Arcanine that's water goggles. So very, very standard Arcanine. Water Arcanine is a little bit weird, but it is what it is. He has a Chien-Pao. And I tell you this now, this person's not bad. They have Dark Terra, but they also, yeah, they're sashed on this one. But the Dark Terra is actually really significant because it makes the Goldango matchup a lot harder, because it puts me within range of, like, the Sucker Punch on the Dark Terra if they double dip it. Just throwing that out there. Dragonite's AV, Inner Focus normal, actually. So it's one of these, like, E-Speed Dragonites. Alright, and then Palafin. So it's Palafin time, and it's like a Life Orb set, actually, with Drain Punch. And it Terra's Water. So this is my first Palafin of the tournament. Oh, you guys can't even see it, I'm sorry. Alright. So we're fighting against Palance, kind of. And then Amoonguss. And it's Amoonguss with Citrus and Fairy Terra. And then what else we got? Last Mon was Specs Flutter. So going into his team, very aggressive, right? And remember, I'm fresh off a 3-0 against Moxie, right? So I'm at the point to where, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really want to play the game anymore. I already did all the things I want to do, but I have to keep winning because I did good against Marcos. Let me mess with my camera for just like 1 second. I feel like my camera does this, where it like low-key starts to lag. if I don't like reset it every once in a while. There's that better? No, let's just deactivate it. There, we're good. Yeah, I feel like it has to like catch up. It has to like catch up. Yeah, really, really standard team though. Like Palafin, the way that Palafin works, I've been saying this the whole time. When you use Palafin, you have to swap to something, and usually I pick Arcanine or Amoonguss. If we were to take a look at my team and show what happens, basically, you can't swap in the Arcanine or the Amoonguss on this team. If you swap in the Amoonguss, it dies to the Goldango, and then Goldango can't get hit by Spore, so there's no point. And if you swap in the Arcanine, it takes enough damage to put you within range for a Garchomp EQ, right? So it's a lose-lose, and yeah, you get your Palafin, but like Palafin doesn't do anything to this core, right? So it's like, that's why I think this is the only Palafin I fought, but like Palafin doesn't do anything to my team at all, which is why like it works. Shenpao Dragonite's strong, you know, Flutter's strong, but there's no speed control here other than like what is here. So their first game, they go Shenpao Dragonite, and I lead Mouse Ape and win, right? Standard, easy game for me. If you want to lead the Ape here because again they have to go to the Arcanine or the Amoonguss, and we have a Mouse to be able to safety goggles redirection, and lo and behold, they had to go to Arcanine. They gave me the proc. I win. So we upload this VOD to YouTube. I probably will. In game 2, though, I'm gonna win, and I low-key, like, throw a little bit, and I find myself in a situation, like, I have the game state, like, won, but I ended up, like, using a not optimal play. They would Shenpao Dragonite again, I go Mouse Ape, I left him on up for just a little bit too long, and I found myself in a situation where I think they got like a double protect off, and like I fell for the bait on it because they had to, and I'm losing game 2. Now, this is the board state that's gonna blow your mind. I have just Annihilate. It's at full. They have a full health Specs Flutter and a Dark Terra'd Shenpao at 90%. Now, my Annihilate has no boosts, but it has the beat up procs onto it already. And again, I'm at full health because I have leftovers and back up by now. So I have just my beat up, my Rage Fist procs, but no bulk ups. They have a Specs Flutter and a Shenpao. And I win that. I win that. Now, you may not think that one should win that. Oh, and by the way, like, I'll explain it. So, it's a lot more complicated. Like, you don't, how do I explain this? If I were to attack the Shenpao, I have Steel Terror, yes, and they were to protect and Shadow Ball me, I get 2-ko by Shadow Ball. So you're thinking, well, why don't you just hit the Flutter? Well, they could just kill me with the Shenpao because I have no bulk ups yet. So what I do, I just protect. I protect to see if the Shenpao protected. He didn't. He's also going for Sucker Punch. So I go for another protect, just a double, just to waste 1 PP on Sucker Punch to show that like I'm that guy, right? Right? And so that happens. And then I go for a situation where I soak the Shadow Ball. And you're thinking, okay, well, I'm Steel Terra now, by the way. I have to Steel Terra this turn. And if he's Sucker Punch plus Dark Terra plus that Shadow Ball will kill me. Because Shadow Ball does about 45%. How can I show the replay? It's not on Showdown. I played a regional. But basically, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. They Shadow Ball. Sorry, I'll start off with the turn. He Sucker Punches. It fails. Right? The Sucker Punch fails. He Shadow Balls, take 45%. I bulk up. Now, you're thinking, why would you be bulk upping in a 1v2 situation like that? there's like no reason to bulk up. You could have just KO'd the Xianpao. I might have been able to actually live the sucker, but even if I Drain Punched the Xianpao and got my health back and weaved into Protect, I still would have died to the Flutter Mane. I wouldn't have been able to restore 45%. So, I bulk up. Next turn, he goes Sucker Punch again. I go Protect, get my leftovers tick. I'm trying to PP out these sucker punches. Again, this is the sort of thing I was talking about, playing with the right body language. I'm in the zone. I'm on my notes. I'm not wavering at all. Like, I'm playing like I literally just have it. No way, I didn't Protect that turn, did I? We'd already gone through like a couple turns of double Protect, of like protecting after every single turn. I've been doing that all game to get my leftovers back. Yeah, the turn after I bulk upped. The reason I bulk upped there was the condition one very special move on that Xianpao. Because again, I've been leading the leftovers every other turn going for protects. The turn after I bulk upped, instead of protecting, I just soaked another hit from the Flutter, 45%. It's about 45%. And I Drain Punched into the Xianpao to KO it. And you're probably thinking like, why didn't he sucker that turn? Well, the move that he did that turn was Haze. That was conditioned by the bulk up. He thought I was going to go Protect, and he's like, ha, I can Haze that and Shadow Ball in the next turn. I'll double him and win. But no, I conditioned him into hazing by bulk upping the turn before. And then thinking I was going to go for double Protect. They should have just been Ice Spinnering. They should have just been Ice Spinnering. He still done a lot. The whole time they should have just been Ice Spinnering. So basically, I Drain Punch the Xianpao, get a Protect after. They Shadow Ball me the next turn after that, and I live at like 10 HP, and then I Rage Fist out the Flutter, and I win. And I was like, bro, literally created that win condition off straight, like, keeping the right body language. Oh, that was just, like, if they didn't even have Haze, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Because their moveset was Protect, Sucker, Ice Spinner, Haze. Oh, and I felt so good. Dude, I felt so good. And you know, I think I still could have won, like a game 3. Again, that was just game 2. I won game 1 and I won game 2. So, you know, like, that's this right here. I took this at the end of round 4. But yeah, dude, I created a win condition off straight, like, unwavering confidence. Oh, it felt so good. Yeah, I popped off, dude. I was feeling it so much. It was so good. So, yeah, that was great. That was absolutely great. Let's see what happens here. The tournament's not over, man. So, we're up here. Let's get rid of this one. We're right here. Garchomp is strong. 4-0. This is going into the lunch break, and again, I didn't really get that long of a break, I felt. I didn't really get that long of a break. All the food places were already closed by the time I wanted to go get something to eat, too. It was sucked. Like, there was nowhere to eat. Like, I went the whole day, like, no food, no, like, anything. No water, no nothing. It was terrible. There was, like, nothing open. Going to the next one. Okay, all right, we'll take a look at this next one now. We're going into round 5. Now, I'm 5-0. Oh, yeah, let's show this picture. So we got, like, this picture right here. This is the... I always like taking pictures of my win pages because it makes me, like, have them forever. Yeah, and then we're 5-0. So right now we're 4-0. Right? 4-0. Literally killing it out here. Right there, 4-0. Not washed. Not washed, right? Did that with my Haxorus once versus the King Gambit. Yep. See, that's the same thing. Is like I forced them because what made that combo work in the last game was I forced them to really hyper value their Sucker Punch PP. And I got them to use literally anything else, and I won. Oh. But yeah, 4-0. Doing good. And right around this time, I saw during the lunch break, they said, like, these are the top 12 Pokemon at Portland. I don't know where that freaking accent came from, but, like, bro, I don't have a single one of these things. I'm not using a single one of the most used Pokemon. I'm low-tier hero out here using Life Orb, Murkrow, Goldango. Like, I mean, Goldango's not, like, low-tier. Goldango's probably, like, top 15. But, like, you know what I mean? I got, like, everyone's leftover, I don't want to play with you anymore toys. Series 1 and done. I just think it's so cool that like I saw that little graphic pop up and it's like, hey, these are the most used Pokemon. It's like, bro, I don't have any of those. I don't have a single one. I don't have a single good Pokemon. Right? So it's just kind of funny. So I'm going up against Ian Lee next. Next round we go up against Ian Lee at table 13. I'm 4-0. So it's like at this point I'm realizing like, okay, I'm not washed. Right? Like I went 3-1 in the Premier Challenge yesterday. I'm 4-0 right now. It's around this time that I want to remind you guys that the last time I went to Portland Regionals, I had a 5-0 start as well. And that was in 2017, and there was some collusion that happened that basically led to like people telling my opponents, my teams before the round starts, and like I didn't know about it until after the tournament was over, and like it really gave me like bad PTSD about playing, and like I haven't been the same player since that tournament. This was the first tournament since that tournament that I think I've been able to play the game the way I like to. Fun, like zero like anxiety, no focus on like my breathing levels. I was able to have fun, play my game, and do what I wanted. And I think it's like I've actually been off stream like really working on like myself for the past probably 2 or 3 months about like how I can play the game with more like confidence and, you know, more mental awareness about what it takes to do well with these regionals. Because I'm not gonna lie, that this tournament in 2017, same venue, same Portland, it broke me, right? You've heard me tell the story a bunch of times before. It's hard to bounce back from something like that, and it's literally something that I'm still dealing with. So it's at this point where I'm like, okay, I'm not washed. Like, I'm not a piece of shit. I know what I'm doing. But it's starting to get to the point where I was like, oh shit, it's gonna happen again, isn't it? It's gonna happen again. Like, something's gonna happen. Like, I can't, it's imposter syndrome. That's what it is. Like, the feeling of I can't keep getting away with this. That's what this is. So, we're 4-0. All right, we're 4-0. And, let's plug in Ian's team. Well, you guys already know how these stories end, so. Alright, so, Ian has a really cool team. Ian's really cool. And I think their Twitter is Ian Lee VGC. YouTube has been awesome, thank you. Alright, so they're using backs with Dice and Poison Terra. Again, this is, like, these Pokemon, like these Poison Terra Mons, like the Poison Terra Ruin Mons or the Steel Terra Mons, Garchomp just comes in. Like, Garchomp is the call, the truth, the hero. Saving everybody out here. Like, what's Bax gonna do against Garchomp? Nothing. Let's go. Alright, the fuck Pokemon is this? I can't even read my own. Oh, it's a Lycanroc. Sash Lycanroc, Ghost Terra. They have Tinglu with Poison. Again, like Garchomp doesn't care. And these are all Poison Mons, and because of like Glamora, I'm sure. Up next, we have Talonflame with Ghost Goggles. I don't think you. Sorry, Ghost Goggles is good. Goggles is great on Talonflame too because it helps you avoid sand. And it's obviously Gale Wings, of course. And then we have Tyranitar. And Tyranitar has Flying and Band. And then last but not least, we got Goldango Water Specs. So another Goldango mirror about to be happening here. All right. Let's go. No, so like you have Poison Terra to block Fairy moves, but you have Poison Terra over something like Steel or Fire, so you don't have to deal with Glamora, right? Because Fire or Steel can do the same thing. So yeah, this is their team. Very standard, I would say. Standard Sand. One thing I knew though going into this was that they were never going to bring T-Tar, just because it was banded, and banded T-Tar just doesn't really work for my team. So we could already discount the fact that Lycanroc T-Tar are going to never come. So it has to be a mixture of like Bax, Tinglu, Talonflame, Goldango. So I want to tell you this right now, because I know that, because I know how my team plays. I've done all the flowcharts, I've done all the work, right? So I know that it's probably going to be like Talonflame Goldango or Talonflame Bax or Talonflame Ting lead. It has to be. It's also like EQ, Fisher, Tinglu. Like, it has to be those things. So, going into this one, I want you guys to know, and if Ian comes back and checks this matchup later, I know that I'm going to win. My team has a good matchup against this. I can lead Goldango Murkrow. I go, because they can't Sandby. They can't. There's no situation where like Kitar is a good bring versus like Garchomp, Goldango, stuff like that. It's banded. It just doesn't work. Lycanroc could be okay, but it's still like not great against like Gamora. So like I have the matchup advantage on paper. This is the sort of team I'd like to fight against a lot. I can just lead Goldango Murkrow, go trade Tailwinds, make it rain, get a KO or not, bring out Garchomp, EQ everything. Rock Slide the only Talonflame that doesn't matter, right? We have it. We have the Glamora to beat the backs, force Poison Terra, so Garchomp can clean up too. Like, it's great. We're playing the game. Game 1, they lead Talonflame, Ting-Lu. I lead Goldango Murkrow, and I'm right about to win. They have two Pokemon. They have either 1 or 2 Pokemon left, and I have like 2 or 3. And I'm right about to win. And when I say that I have like 1 more Mon than they do, it's because at the end of this turn, I just killed their Ting-Lu, and I showed all the EVs on all my Mons. I showed like my Garchomp's EVs, how bulky it was. I ate to make it rain. He went for a double with my Garchomp. I ate it. You know, I basically showed all my cards, right? But I was gonna win. Like, I did the turn where I soaked the damage in a situation they normally wouldn't expect, and I got the double KO back. All they had to do was send out like their last Mon or 2, and I have the convincing win. The game DCs. The game DCs a turn before I win. I have the right Mons it's the last Mons backs, guys. It has to be backs. We talked about it at the end. And their last Mons backs, I have like two Mons. I have a Garchomp, a Murkrow, and a Sash Glamora in the back. I have the game. It's over. We call the judge. Judge says we do a regame. Well, not a regame. It's technically a draw, even though I was going to win in 1 turn. And not only was I going to win in 1 turn, I already showed like the way that I win. Like I can't get that back. I can't go for that play again, where like I soak the right amount of damage with Garchomp and force them to analyze that damage level. That play doesn't work anymore. And DCs don't usually happen mid-game. They usually happen on the first turn, which for the next 3 games, we get into the game, and on the first turn, it DCs again. And so this is where I'm starting to think to myself like, oh shit, that Portland curse, it's happening again. It's happening again. At least I got 4-0 this time. At least I tried my best. You know, at least, you know, it's whatever, you know. It's starting to get to me, right? So we go into like the 5th game, and the way it works is because we got a draw in the first round, we play 2 more games. If it's 1 win apiece, we go to a sudden death match, which is the first person to get a KO wins. Now, in like game 5 or whatever, because we've gone to these games like multiple times, I win that one. I win. This is technically my 2nd win. I technically 2-0'd him, you know. But we still have to keep playing. It's at this point to where I always tell people you have to understand how to win games 2 and game 3. You shouldn't have to plan for how to win games 6 or 7, right? I have nothing else that I can do. I know exactly what they need to do, but I'm out of like things that will work against it, you know? So I decide to go Mouse 8 for game 3. I go Mouse 8 for game 3. They go Ting Talon. And I go with, you know, and they were using like Fisher, Ting-Lu next to Talon. So they're going like Fisher's turn 1. Turn 1, they get me with the, I go for the Super Fang Ting-Lu bulk up, hoping that they'd over-respect the Mouse and not Wisp. And they did Wisp, and they did hit. So turn 1, I have a Wisp Ape and Mouse Hold. And I think that I only made that play because, like, I'm tilted. Like, looking back on it, that's not optimal. I could just went Follow Me, Force. Like, it's hard to keep your composure when you're fighting, like, Fisher, Ting-Lu, and they go for, like, every first turn. And, like, you're, like, game 6. But I got a Burned Ape, and we're actually running out of time in the round. Right? So we'll talk about our record in a minute. And so I'm thinking, do I just scoop this game and go to a game 3? I'm out of options. I have nothing else that I can show, you know. I've already exhausted all of like my A and S tier leads. Because I've already shown everything. Like we've had to redo them every time. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, I know they have backs in the back, and there's no way they have the T-Tar. I know Spudman was talking about bringing T-Tar in the back, but like there's no way they have T-Tar. When you DC, do they make you use the same leads? No, you can change them, but like I didn't change. So they have to have backs, right? Have to have backs. Have to have Goldango in the back. So I brought Murkrow. My lead was Mouse, Ape, Murkrow, Garchomp. And remember, that's what I talked about. Always pick the Garchomp. Always have faith in the things you practice. That Murkrow in the back, to be able to switch in and block those EQs and fissures from Tingloos every other turn, so tech. And then tunnel them to attack that Murkrow, you swap back into your Garchomp, soak some damage, get a Rough Skin proc. You start playing the long game. You're saying, this game, it sucks, it's going to have to be a sudden death game just because the round timer, right? And we get a situation where they KO all of my teammates. And they have 2 Mons left. And I have this Ape that's burned. And it's not looking good for our hero. But what I did in this game was by using the protects on my teammates and weaving them in and out and doing all these things, this Ape has, like, it's max stacks Rage Fist. And yeah, I'm burned, but I'm at like +4 from bulk ups. So it doesn't fucking matter that I'm burned. One shot this, one shot this, one shot this, one shot everything. Like, Ape's out here, man. And like, we were sitting there, the judges were watching the game, and like, Ape will refuse, literally too angry to die. And you poison Terra, you can do all these things, and I got it. I got that 2-0. I got that 2-0 win. I got that 2-0 win. And in that matchup, something really fun happened. It was in that exact last game that this happened to me. Now, I'm going to show you a tweet that's been in my drafts for months. I've been waiting to use this for so long, and it was so perfect. My Garchomp hitting a double protect to get me to 5-0. The 5-0 part was not in the drafts, but my Pokemon hitting a double protect to get me the win. My Garchomp, it had to go for one double protect to be able to elongate the game for like one more turn of spread damage on the Make It Rain. And basically, I had to elongate the spread damage, soak to Make It Rain, and then next turn the second Make It Rain would make it so they could never break the Ape after I weaved in protects. The Goldango would be at -2. So I had to hit it. I had to hit the double. Garchomp did it. And I've been I literally, like, I don't care what happens at this regional. I've wanted to make this tweet for so long. Like, I literally just, if you could tell me, like, yeah, you could, like, win Portland regionals or make this tweet, I'd pick making this tweet. I've wanted to make this forever. Like, this is the best tweet of all time. Hope you have fun. I did have fun, yeah. My Garchomp's like, I got one more protect in me. And I get it. I get that double protect. And I'm 5-0. I'm 5-0 at the tournament. Like, we're out here. We're 5-0. Yeah. 5-0. 5-0. Pretty nice. So these are some of the records of people I played. So after I beat people, I did play versus Moxie. We already went over that game. After I played versus people, they kind of like shut down. Like, I think me beating them was such like a weird team, like made people not happy. Because like a lot of people struggled. I think Marcos actually won the rest of his rounds, or I think he won all but one. But yeah, they all like fell apart after they lost like Goldango Murkrow guy that just didn't respect damage levels. So we're 5-0. Won a couple rounds. They're at 5-0 here. Table 13, 1-5-0. So we're gonna go into this next here. Round. This was the main stream This was on the main stream. We're in round 6. Sorry, we aren't going in round 5. We're going to round 6. I already won round 5, okay? We already talked about that. We're going into round 6. And obviously, they decided to put Nails and Neil on stream. But, like, I wanted to be on stream so bad. And like, you know, they were talking about me on stream, I heard. They said that, like, they saw that I was playing with a Series 1 team. That was pretty cool. Like, another reason why, like, I want to be on stream really bad. First of all, like, I just like being on stream, obviously. But we're at table 1. We are at table 1. That's a plus table 1. Go over into the tweets over here. Back to the tweets for the full story. I like that I chronicalized, like, everything here. That's a plus table 1. You know? Like, it's... Yeah, I know it sounds really weird, but, like... Glad to hear all the tournament good so far. Glad things have went so well. Yeah, that's doing great. It's a... Like, I realized I'm not washed. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people in this tournament. Right? And I'm at table 1. I'm undefeated. I'm hanging with them, you know? I'm doing everything in my power. So, going up into round 6 against Zone. That's who this is. This person went on to get top 8. This person got top 8 in the tournament. So, they're really good. And we're going to see something from them here. So we're going to take a look at their team here. They had Amoonguss with Water Terra Citrus. Again, like, that's just really good. This is like the most standard Pokemon in the meta right now. I like Rocky Helmet, but like I understand the Citrus on this mon. With obviously they still used Regenerator. And they did have Protect. Was watching you, bud. I know you say they won't put you on stream, but I was hoping for till we see your name. They put my name on the stream, but I told you they wouldn't put me on stream. Like, I don't know what more I literally have to do to get on stream. I don't. Is there something else? I don't think that I brought a team with no I was literally the underdog hometown hero and nothing. Like, I was undefeated with like a crazy like off meta team. I don't know what else you could do at table 1. I got nothing, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. Ask them. They got Gyarados. Flying. It was at this time, though, I realized, and it was Lum Gyarados. I realized they weren't ever going to put me on. So, like, was I sad at this point? I was happy with how well I was doing, but, like, I was sad knowing that, like, I'm like, they're never going to put me on stream. That would be it, you know? They had Murkrow. It was like a sunny day Tailwind Murkrow with Ghost Terra and Eviolite. And it was Prankster. And then they had Tusk, Scarf Tusk, Ground. With Scarf. Ground. Flutter, Fairy Specs. Fairy. And then the last one on their team was Goldango Water Lefties with Protect. You have to know Aaron Cybertron and Zhang, who showcases a team on the VGC ladder with live commentary as he goes along to get on stream. Yeah, probably. So, this is their team. Super good team, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. Like, this team's really good. Going into our games, they basically just lead, like, Flutter Merc and bend me over. But the way this works is their team and my team, realistically, are the exact same team. Hear me out. We both have Goldango and Murkrow. Right? Both have Goldango and Murkrow. We both have a ground type that's the cleanup mon. We both have a big ghost mon that's our damage dealer. We both have a redirection mon. Right? It's exactly the same team. I would say their team is my team more optimized. 100%. Like, that's just literally it. So their team is my team that's like taken to the next level. So they just had the +1 version of what I was doing. I had the bare bones series 1 version. They had the regulation C version, right? That's literally it. We both have redirections. We both have a ghost type that's our carry. We both have Goldango. We both have Murkrow. We both have our ground types that are our secondary carry mons. So, yeah. Oh, regulation B version. But yeah, you get the idea. Yeah, I don't know. I wish they put me on stream. I wish I would have got put on stream. But, yeah, Zone really gave me the business. I think it went to game 3, but there was no way that I could actually close out a win versus this. They made their team try and win the regional. You made yours because you wanted to showcase your favorite mons. Definitely. The way also as well, I'll talk to you guys at the very end about it. But like, we're going to talk about when you build a team for regional, you want to do these 3 things. You want to build a team that can beat everyone that you're better than. No questions asked. If you have more experience, if you feel that you're better, you should be able to win. Give yourself a team that has the best chance of doing that. You want to win half the game against your peers. So against players that have been playing as long as you, players that have a good enough understanding. This is something you can gauge the longer you've been playing. But against people you would say are your peers, you want to win half the games against them. And then you want to be able to win a third of the games against people that are better than you. You want to steal at least one of those if you fight like 2 or 3 of them. And if you can do those things, you actually have a team that will always get you CP. You have a great chance of getting top cut and making day 2, and you kill it. Like, that's exactly what you want. So let's read this one. One really important question I have from your perspective is this. What is your real weight on mons like Jumpluff with moves such as Sleep Powder, Leaf Storm that can miss and lose you a game, or hit and potentially give you a spot and almost always get a knockout or win? I'm 100% uncomfortable with the 90% hit chance. So that's the sort of thing to where if you're uncomfortable with that. All right, so that's a weird question. Let me just get this hair out of my face real quick. I have a comb. Those are great. Those moves are great, and you should use those things. Because realistically, how would I word this in the best possible way? So moves that are like 90% accuracy and even like 70, 60 reasons. So situations like that, if you're a good player, right, and you win game 1 or lose game 1 just because you lost Sleep Powder, well then cool, do it again. You know, you have a much higher chance of doing it again, right? Yeah, I don't think that those are, yeah, you have to actually take initiative, right? And you ever heard the term like risk reward, like great power comes great responsibility? Like you have to hit those things. I think that those moves are totally fine. Yeah, it's frustrating to like use them, but like you have to. I went to the zoo. I went to the zoo. I have a video. I'll show you guys the video of the zoo later. I took a video. But yeah, like you need to use those moves to win. I think those are really important. And I have a full video coming out with like how to better manage that stuff. But like you need to be using those things, in my opinion. But let's see. Against Zone, they messed me up. They got me. If we were to go out here, I played my absolute best, and they got me. It happens. Like I said, like there are some matchups you try your absolute best for, and they didn't drop the ball at all. They played every single turn about as perfectly as you could have played it, and wasn't that much I could do. Wasn't that much I could do about it. So I was thinking to myself, bro, like, it's happening again. The 5-0 curse of Portland is happening again. We're going to go into my next round, which is David Sullivan. David Sullivan in round 7. So their team is Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon with Flying Terra Booster. And this thing has Dragon Dance. That's Dragon Dance. It's nuts, right? They have Moongus Citrus Water. So, like, obviously, right off the bat, I'm hyper over-respecting, like, their ability to go, like, redirection of Moongus, like Dragon Dance with this guy, because they'll just tear me apart. They have a Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu with Scarf and Grass Terra. I like the Grass Terra here. It makes it so when the Moongus goes Water Terra to stop you, like, they can't Spore you back. So it's actually kind of nice. They have a Shenpao. And this guy has Ghost Shenpao, but also it's Orbed, which is actually really cool. I thought that was a good tech from them. They have an Ape. And it's Fire Terra leftovers. So, just Ape with no mouse. And last but not least, obviously, it's, well, it's not obvious, it's Bundle. Bundle made things really hard, because it was a Sash bundle, which, like, you don't see as much anymore. And it was actually Ice Terra to double dip to make sure you can actually KO the things. So, going into this game, it was really weird. In game 1, they led Roaring Moon Bundle. And I won, like, definitely won that. Goldango Murkrow just sets up, rolls over, like, we win. Easy peasy. You basically make it ring, clock the Sash in the bundle, bring out the Garchomp now outspeeds the bundle, KO, pin the bundle, you pin the Roaring Moon, you just win the game. Game 2, they led Chi-Yu bundle, and I don't remember what happened, but I did remember that, oh yeah, it came down to, like, weird situations with, like, Ape mirrors, and something happened that I wasn't a fan of, but I felt like I could have won that one, and it just kind of got away. But then game 3, they lead bundled Chi-Yu again, and I'm winning the whole game, and I'm totally gonna win the game, and, like, it comes down to, like, a Moongus bundle, and I have Goldango and, like, another Mon, and if they KO my Murkrow, they win, and I Ghost Terra my Murkrow to not die to the Freeze Dry. They Freeze Dry, I live at, like, 40 HP, and I get frozen. The Amoonguss, I cannot then KO the Amoonguss. The Amoonguss spores my Annihilate, and I lose. So I didn't even, like, make any misplays. Game 1, I won. Game 2, they made some good changes. Slap back. Game 3, I literally set up, like, a winning pin. It's 10% chance to freeze. And, like, he apologized. He's like, no, like, I can't believe it, like, you know. So, yeah, he beat me, and I was really salty. I don't think I was that big of a dick, but, like, inside, I was salty. Because if I win that one, I need one more win out of, like, 3 rounds to get to day 2. So, yeah, he got me there. 10% of the time, every time. So we go into this one. It's a David Sullivan right there, so we take the L. So I take the losses. So these are the records so far. And, you know, these two players are both 6-1. Zone just lost on stream the round after that. But I had it. I had 100%. 100,000%. Had that game won. Easy peasy. If I didn't get frozen by a random freeze dry. Never lucky, bro. And so we're going into the next round. Let's so it's a Portland curse, right? I go 5-0 into, like, it all falling apart, and it's the worst thing ever. Going into round 8, I decide to just, and also we're like 7 or 8, let's see, 8, 9 hours into the day. I have not eaten or drank, like, any water or done anything because everything in the venue's closed. And so, like, I'm low-key running out of steam too, right? Going into round 8 though, fighting against Ting Lu with AV Water. Not Waterstone, I'm out. Going up against Corviknight. We got Safety Goggles and Fire Terra. Fire Terra Corv. Amoonguss with Water Citrus Protect. Sorry. All right, and then Bundle. And remember, I'm still salty I didn't get put on stream, too. Bundle with Booster Ghost. Booster speed. And then they have Tyranitar flying. And it's Amulet. Someone was asking, like, why I wouldn't use Scarf Chomp instead of Clear Amulet on Chomp, and my Chomp was Citrus. Earlier, I remember that, and it was flying. And then last but not least was Dragapult. Dragapult's a unique mon here. It was Orb and Steel Terra. So very unique. So I'm thinking to myself, like, this is it. Like, I tried my best, but, like, I got to win 2 in a row now to make day 2. And remember, I still have, like, really, really good tiebreakers. Like, you don't just go 5-0, you know? I'm thinking to myself, like, Corv's probably one of my worst matchups. I have to go Mouseape into Corv, and, like, Mouseape's really hard to make work against Amoonguss. So if they were to go Amoonguss... If they were to go, like, Amoonguss Corv, they'd get up Tailwind every time, and then they'd be able to bring out their T-Tar or their Dragapult and probably win. And I can't lead, like, Goldango Make It Rain into that. But it's at this point, right? I'm sitting there, and I'm like, this is not going. I'm surprised this... Like, I was like, it's not working. I have my Garchomp plushie. And I'm looking at him. And remember, I told you, I angled it, so were you guys looking at it? Garchomp, I can see the little side, the little glimmer in his eye. He's facing forward. He's looking right on towards the opponent, telling me, like, you gotta just fucking go for it. You gotta just fucking go for it, man. I go for it. You don't lead Garchomp, because that's throwing, right? You lead Goldango Murkrow. You go with what you practiced, but you have to be the one in these situations to dictate play. You have to be the one in these situations to be the person that forces the game into a certain tempo. At least with my team. Otherwise, the team doesn't get played right. If you're not playing your team right, it doesn't work. So, I lead Murkrow Goldango. And they lead Tinglu Corv. And I'm like, yo, it's a pretty good looking, like, Tailwind Earthquake board. It's pretty good. It is pretty good. It's pretty good. Turn 1. Terastallize Corviknight. Into fire. Fucking power gem that shit right in the face, bro. Oh my god. It's so good. It is so good. I was just like, in any other world, you just like don't Terastallize your Corviknight and you win. Bruh. And once the Corviknight fell down, this is done. Oh, not only did, like, you're thinking, well, they have Tinglu, you don't care with Power Gem? Bro, I've Brave Birded that Corviknight too. I went Brave Bird Power Gem into that Corv, deleted off the first turn of the game. Bruh. Oh, you missed it. Adrian, it was a good story. You missed it. Gotta go Twitch Prime. Gotta drop that sub. So, that was a ballsy first turn. And, I remember Goldango didn't even die. And so, like, I ended up winning game 1. They had, like, Pult and Bundle in the back. And from there, I just set Tailwind and I won. And then going into game 2, they led Tinglu Amoonguss. And I did the Make It Rain Brave Bird into the Amoonguss that time. Got the Amoonguss off the board. Took some damage. Same thing kind of happened. I 2-0'd. Like, I just popped off. I just felt myself just a little bit too much. And we take those pop-offs all the way to the bank. And we are now 6-2. We are now 6-2. Better than I did at Portland last time. And I'm at a win and in. If I win this next round, I go up. This is my whole record right here. If I win this next round, I go into day 2. And I'm like, bro, like, just put me on stream. I'm like, I'm going to catch back up on the Twitter. I'm like, yo, just put me on stream. 6-2. We have a win-and-in situation for the last round. If I can get on stream, I promise I'll never ask for anything ever again. You know? I want to go on stream. Like, put me on stream. and the pairings come out, and I'm going against NJ11, a really, really good player who also made top 8. So David Sullivan, the guy I lost to round 7 that froze my Murkrow, he makes day 2. Zone, the person I lost to round 6, they make top 8. NJ11, you can kind of tell where this is going. They beat me. They make top 8. So 2 of my losses are top 8, and the other one's day 2. Which is like, of course you're going to have losses at regionals, but usually you take a loss and then that player either burns out or they don't do anything. It's very rare that the only people that beat you make top 8. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know how I didn't get on either. Like, NJ11's also like a well-known player. I don't know how we weren't on stream. It was done in 16 matches. I still think that, like, I had a good shot. But, let's break down the teams. So their team's actually really, really cool. Their team's actually really, really cool. And here we go. It's Flutter. I think it's Specs Flutter with Fairy. Yep. Not Electric, bro. Not Dragon either. Fairy. And then it's Chi-Yu Ghost Goggles. I like that set a lot, by the way. And then it's Amoonguss Water Helmet, the good set. The That's a +1 favorite set. Then you have Annihilate with Citrus Fire. Again, we're starting to see a lot more apes, no mouse. It's just a really, really good Pokemon. It's just like a different King Gambit, basically. And then we see Screamtail. Screamtail with like Encore Disable, Grass Booster Energy. Really, really cool set on this thing. And last but not least, they have Bundle Ghost Terra Sash. So in these games, we played 2 games. They led Chi-Yu Amoong in the first game and Chi-Yu and Bundle Amoong in the second. Both games came down to like mid games where they tried to spore my teammate, and I went with a Sludge Wave Glamora, where I picked up a K on their teammate, chunked the Amoonguss, put it within range for something next turn, and Sludge Wave had a 10% chance to poison my teammate. If you poison my teammate, if I poison my teammate, you can't spore me and I win the game. So in both situations, I had the potential outplay to win the game, and they knew it too. They're just I put it on a 10% both games because like they have such a good matchup against me on paper. The Screamtail completely changes things. I can't weave in things. I get Encore and Disabled. So basically, like you can make your team as weak as shit because like all these Pokemon have Protect, right? So you can basically make your team weak as shit to like Garchomp Earthquake, and then like always be able to disable it. And since you have a higher base tier speed than me, then like I can't really catch it. So it's really hard. And in situations where like even I have Tailwind up, you soak the damage first, you Encore me into that first move that I used, and then you disable it, right? So it's a hard matchup. They played it really well, but I did have probably 3 or 4 different opportunities to win if I got like a Rock Slide flinch here, a crit here. If I poisoned either of my mons with my side Sludge Waves, I hit my own Annihilate and my own Garchomp in games 1 and game 2. If I would have gotten either of those poisons onto those guys, I wouldn't have been able to get spored, and those Pokemon would have carried me to get the win. But they played really well, and they got top 8. So 2 of my 3 losses were in the top 8 of the whole tournament, with another one of my losses getting day 2. And so that's where the story ends. No stream, but I did get CP. I did end up doing, I would say really well. This is definitely a win. Like if you take a look at like some of the standings here, we're gonna post. This is what the plushie tables look like. For anyone like wondering like how I get these plushies and stuff like that, there's like 5 or 6 vendors that look like this, and you just go get all of the plushies. I have some cool plushies. I have like the big Garchomp here, right? The big Garchomp right here. And then I also got like this Archeops. Dude, look at this Archeops. It's so derpy. And I got a Trapinch plushie. Yeah. And yeah, so I don't think I actually made any real misplays. I got frozen in one game, but like Well, we're talk a little bit. I talked to Nino. I didn't actually talk to Nino at this tournament, but he was definitely there. He brought the wrong Dondozo, or the wrong Tatsu. He was trying to play Storm Drain Tatsu, and he brought Commander. So this is the standings of people that got top cut for day 2. So they're 7-2. I got 6-3. Really good players here. This is the next page of that. So it goes down to 41 for 7-2. And you can see I'm right here at 58th out of like 600 or 700 people. And I think I actually got bumped up like one more. I think someone like got disqualified or something. But yeah, dude, I killed it. Like 6-3. I mean, I had great resistance too. So I did a really, really good job. This was the ending scores. So you can see like Jake ended up like dropping out. But like 5-4, 5-4 for Marcos, 5-4 here, 5-4 here. Zone got top 8. David got day 2. This is a guy I beat in the last round, 5-4. I didn't fight a single person other than Jake, who still definitely could have went positive from a 1-4 situation who decided to drop. I didn't fight a single person really that went negative other than my first round. And with 2 of them being in the top 8. Yeah, that's the thing is like, I think that people got to remember that like, yeah, I did think this team was good. And this was what I wanted to play, but I also did play with like a handicap, you know? I didn't have any Ruin Mons or Paradox Mons. And I definitely chose to do that to myself and went into it with that handicap, but still, that's ridiculous. Bro, just imagine not being able to use good stuffs. That was my team. So, yeah, I did really good. Remember what we were talking about. You want to win every single game against players you would say you're better than. My team was more prepared than Jake's was. I feel like they tried to do a little bit too much. But Jake is definitely one of my peers. So like we can put that in the peer box. We'll put that in the peer box. But I knew I was going to win against Travis. I knew I was going to win against James. I knew I was going to win against Ian. I won like 3 games. I should have won against David, but, you know, it is what it is. But I knew I was going to win against Saad. So I won all of those games. Against my peers, you want to win more than half. And I beat Jake and I beat Marcos. And against players that are better than me. Actually, you know, Marcos is my peers. He's better than me. I beat Marcos, and I lost against those 2. And I got never luckied. No, it's not that Jake Bowman. This is the guy that made... Jake White's the guy that made the damage calculator. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Appreciate the sub. I respect you showed up playing with at least a few mons that you enjoy. I only used mons that I liked. That was the thing. Like, I used stuff that I wanted to do. I had cool nicknames. I had plushies. That's the thing is, like, I don't know how TPCI didn't put me on stream. Like, I'm literally every single round. Let's go back over here. I'm, like, literally every single round showing that, like, you can win with your favorites. You can literally win with your favorites. I have a whole team built around plushies. Like, I'm literally, like, selling your merch. You know? But I think I did a good job, like, chronologing everything, like, getting back after every single round. Yeah, lost the last round to finish top 64 with 6-3. I was really sad. I thought that I'd be super fine. I thought that I would be like, oh, I did my best. Like, top 64 is technically a top cut. Like, when you go to a regional, you would like to get day 2, but there's a lot of day 2 players that get the same amount of CP as I do, right? Because CP goes from, you know, first to top 4 to top 8 to top 16 to top 32 to top 64 to top 128. Top 64 is that, like, 50 CP, like, benchmark that you want to get to. So, like, this is technically, by most people's, like, brains, a top cut for what most people would say. But I really wanted to keep playing in day 2. And I want to thank everyone also, if you're here, that like the tweets, that, you know, interact with me on Twitter or just talk to me in between the rounds. You guys are all awesome. I feel like I did really good. And then I realized, like, I went to the zoo the next day, right? And it's like, what the hell? Like, all the people that beat me were fucking cracked. That means I would have been there. Like, think about it. If I didn't take the L to Zone or NJ11, like, I probably could have, like, made a much deeper run into day 2. Because, like, only people that beat me got top. Like, if you take those 2 out of the situation, I did not see a wild Garchomp, but the zoo was really cool. I have the video where I posted that I built the team. Remember, I built this team on stream 2 days before the regional. So remember, imagine if I spent like months working on this team. I built it in 2 days around Pokemon that I like. I think that's another thing that's like pretty ridiculous. I showed this Trapinch. Trapinch looks really weird when you stand it up. It looks like a weird alien thing. And I think that's it. People want me to go to Milwaukee. I don't know if I will. How many are invited day 2? It's like 40. And I got 50th out of like 600 or 700. Do you have a video on how I built the team? Yep, it's up on YouTube right now. It's literally up on YouTube. I built it all from scratch. It's up there right now. But then I was just like, man, I'm like so burnt out, you know? I don't need any more character development. And you know, one thing that really helped me do well at the tournament was like after every single round, I actually went and just like put music on and like went to the hallways and just like relaxed. I went and like completely like reset back to neutral after every single round. No, I made 2 teams. But yeah, it just showed me that like I'm not washed and I can win if I want to, but like it takes a lot. It takes a lot of like prepping. And am I gonna take the team further? A new team for next time. I don't know if there is a next time. Like realistically, Milwaukee's coming up. And I could go to Milwaukee. I definitely could go to Milwaukee if I feel like it. I have a very busy month this month, so I wouldn't be able to practice that much. And then Fresno is like next to my house, but I don't think I'm going. So like I'm probably done for this season, but we'll see. That's why I said, that's why the goal was like play more in-person terms with a sub goal. Like we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, Brayden dropped the sub. Why not Fresno? Fresno sucks. Like I don't want to go to Fresno. It's not like a fun place to be. They couldn't have picked a shittier location for a regional, in my opinion. Like, the people that are next to, like, within driving distance don't want to go there. For the awesome storytelling. Yo, thank you. So, yeah, these are all the opponents that I fought. And, again, this was my team. I liked this team. It was really good. I think this team, I couldn't ask a single thing more of it. It worked so well. And it's a great example of like playing with like a game plan in mind, like dictating play and forcing your opponent to react to what you're doing. Because if you force your opponent to win in a way that isn't the way that they want to win, you force them to have to come up with a win. And if it's something they've practiced or haven't practiced, you might be able to take them out of their element. And that's what this team does. It says, yo, I'm totally fine dropping a game to like XYZ thing. But do you know how to capitalize on that? Do you know how to find that win con? Or are you just like a Flutter Chi-Yu Andy, right? Am I putting up a regional or a YouTube video going over handling regional stress anxiety on YouTube? Yes, but it's not going to be out for like 2 or 3 weeks probably. Fresno the city or the venue sucks? I'd say both. Like, there you go, got your day 1 badge back. There you go, awesome. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I also met a bunch of really cool people at the tournament, and I have a bunch of coaching sessions lined up with people. Like, it's so funny. Like, I fight people, and then they sign up for the coaching. I think that's hilarious. But it makes sense. Like, there's a lot of things that a lot of people just wouldn't know unless you tell them. Like, in terms of, like, playing at regionals and playing a very specific way, there's just so much, like, little stuff that you can... If you practice it even a little bit beforehand, you're good. And, hopefully I can help a lot of those people do well. I would say like places like Victory Road already have like my team up there. Places like, what is it? Nimbasa City Post also have my team up there. There's so many other like good players that like I beat out, like even above my name. So like I'm above like Ian McLaughlin. I'm above Chuppa. I'm above Nathan Ortiz, Chemo. Like these are all like Worlds Day 2 players, you know? Same record as people like Alberto Lara, you know, second place OCIC. So like I did a good job. And like I said, I was kind of sad that I didn't end up going to day 2, but like 6-3 with great resistance is a good job. It's by all things considered a win. This team was not made to win the tournament. This team was made to do exactly this, and it capitalized on it. And so it gave me the confidence if I want to continue playing with these sort of cores or this sort of play style, I could definitely keep it up. I think it's a really cool team. And thank you guys for watching my little recap of it. It was a lot of fun.